You are watching the #1 podcast in the whole entire Youth Wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juanzo.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leek.
Together we are
RAW
Break. How's every single one of you, family? It is Friday night. It's time to talk about SmackDown, but at least a pretty special SmackDown just because the drop started. So we're going to be talking about every single one of the moves that happened. Not a lot of emotion, maybe one or two that we can say, okay, at least that we see some hope. Some superstars being drafted, but the drop on its own has not felt the same, ever since the days of like when they really started, 02, 03, 04. That's when it actually make more sense. A lot of people enjoy it even more, but now it's very predictable. And like you said, some like the stupidity behind it is not that, it is bad.
Yeah, the draft, we get excited for it every year, but we're always the fools because it's usually pretty disappointing. So that's, But I did like some of the segments on the show. Everything with Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman is good. Brock Lesnar, is good. But I think SmackDown won, I would say, of the draft so far for night one. They got a lot of good moves. We saw some people come up from NXT and stuff. But, no, I feel, this show is still slowly going downhill, unfortunately.
It is. It seems to me that it is. We're going to say hi to Doug Masters, one of the friends of the house. How you doing, Mr. Masters? Like, he's going to actually change where he does his show. He's going to change to a new outlet where he does his show. So there you go. Stick around. He has very news. He has a lot of information to tell us about like the Kayfabe Corner. Kayfabe Corner, that's the show that he does. So thank you so very much for being with us, Doug. So Paul, let's talk before we go into it. Don't forget to follow family. Thank you for everything that you do for the channel. And we did the NXT review. This show is actually really good. Not one of the greatest weeks though, but I think we got to see a really good sit-down interview between the champion and #1 contender NIKKI and Ilya Dragunov.
Yeah, it's a match where, like we said, it maybe wouldn't be something that we would have booked right away, but it'll be a good title match, good first defense for Ilya Dragunov. And a pretty solid match, Mustache Mountain, they opened the show, get a good win over Oliver Carter, Ashton Smith. Go check out the review, and see our full thoughts.
Exactly. Yeah, thank you for that, family. So, Paul, let's start, talking about this drop of SmackDown. And, everything started, from Baltimore, and we got to see Adam Pearce, Sonya Deville, even Stephanie, we get to see, that this is, now as the years go by, they don't even want to be around anymore because they know it's not good. And that's why they did it this way. And like you said, the worst moment is when they for the first pick for SmackDown and they pick Roman Reigns. So what is this exciting? I don't understand this. Why is it exciting? What is it?
It's predictable. I think there should be something where the champions just stay on the show unless the brands agree to trade champions. The only thing you could be is SmackDown gets Big E and Raw gets Roman. You can't draft both of them. It can't be no craziness, nothing like that. So, yeah, this pick was predictable. And then Raw's next, and Raw takes Big E. Again, predictable. Okay.
But tell me, the reaction from Pat McAfee, because that's so stupid. That's so stupid. Oh, my God, Roman Reigns. Okay, you work with Roman Reigns, so why is that, the greatest thing ever, right?
Yeah, he's oh, my God, I was up all night. I was worried that Raw was going to get him. How? If you knew SmackDown had the first pick. But it's so stupid. It just tries to create fake drama, and the draft tries to create fake excitement when we know that nothing really changes.
No, exactly. No, I agree with you, and that's the one thing that, Big E, like you said, that was the second draft and the second pick. And okay, the champions, were we expecting anything different? No, we were not. So that's something that we don't want to see. We don't care to see that. But then Roman Reigns talk about he was actually in the ring and all of that. Acknowledge me one more time. I'm still here. I'm going to keep running the show. And then Paul Heyman took the microphone. He says that he's going to beat Brock Lesnar in Crown Jewel October 21st. Good promo. Roman is decent, like you said. But I think that even him is just slowly falling down just because the other half of the show or the 90% of the show is not good anymore. So it didn't feel that great. Brock Lesnar was in the house. He has another appearance. This is a good stare down. What do you think is going to happen at Crown Jewel? I don't know if he's going to drop the title to Brock Lesnar, but we've seen this match so many times, but they need to add something different to make us more enticing to see this match because we've seen it since 2015. So I don't know what they're going to do about it. But Suplex City is back. I like that. And, another stare down. Roman is the one running. And F5 for Jey Uso and for Jimmy Uso as well.
Yeah, I really like this opening segment. This was great. And I really think Brock Lesnar, I think he didn't get drafted tonight, right? I didn't miss it.
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't think he did. To me, I easily see him getting drafted to Monday Night Raw, and because Crown Jewel is the last show that's going to take place before these draft effects, go into effect. So it's one of those things where, if he gets drafted to Raw, he could still have this match, with Roman Reigns here for, on SmackDown, or for a SmackDown Championship, like we're going to see with Becky Lynch, coming up in a triple threat match that's going to get revealed for Crown Jewel. So, but I like this. I like Roman Reigns as the first opponent, where we saw he kind of cowered away, in fear, and this was good. And Lesnar's, I love the one thing where McAfee sells him, where he's like, if aliens invaded Earth and we only had to send one human being to fight them, it would be Brock Lesnar. Like the way he sells him is hilarious. But
no, but Pat, at least in some aspects, like you said, like one of the good things that SmackDown does have is Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee is like the guy, like you said, at least there's excitement, and it's different. It's not the formulaic ways of doing commentary, so I like that. So now let's go to other set of, like you said, picks, and Drew McIntyre went to SmackDown. This was like a lot of people thought it was going to happen. It finally took place, and yeah, it's good for Drew. Like he has his time on Monday Night Raw. There's nothing else that he can do. He couldn't even challenge for the championship. But why would you just come out at the end of Monday Night Raw and with the sword just like pointing out at Biggie? See, that's the thing, is like you left a lot of like feuds, incomplete. So I'm finished. So whatever. But he was the one. They also they did like the RK Bros. They stay on Monday Night Raw. Whatever. I mean, they're okay. I'm not against that. It's fine. And then they see also like the New Day going to SmackDown. I don't care about this. These guys, they need to go heel, or they need to go their separate ways. There's nothing that you can make me do to care about them. And Edge is going to Monday Night Raw. So that was one of like the one predictables, but good, because Edge, I actually said that he was going to take time off. It didn't happen that way. He's actually going to be more having more fights in the WWE. But like, what do you think about all these moves so far?
Yeah, and then I think by this point, didn't Charlotte already get drafted to SmackDown?
Also, yes.
Yeah, we saw Charlotte. She got drafted to SmackDown, so that was a big move. She's the Raw Women's Champion now. Like we said, there's still 3 weeks, a couple weeks here, so she could drop the belt till then, or maybe the SmackDown Women's Champion will get drafted and to Raw, and they'll just switch belts, which I think is going to be the more likely outcome. But a lot of these moves, I mean, I'm fine with. Edge on Raw, is fine. He wasn't really doing anything on SmackDown. His feud with Seth Rollins seems like it's going to continue on Raw. I see him, Becky Lynch, and Seth Rollins all moving to Monday Night Raw. And Drew McIntyre to SmackDown is good, because we can see Drew versus Roman Reigns.
Yes.
At some point. And, the New Day coming to SmackDown, I'm fine with it, because, I mean, yeah, we might see the New Day and the Usos feud again, but hopefully that means we won't have to see all 3 members of the New Day together, because they're not on the same show.
I think that's why they did it. That's the main reason they did it, because a lot of people are pissed off that they go always the New Day together. Let Big E be on his own. Let him develop his own character. When he needs them, whatever, but not as a steady thing. And like you said before, Charlotte is actually drafted to SmackDown with the Raw Championship, so I don't know if they're going to trade. Remember last year they did that when the Street Profits and the other champion were just like, okay, yeah, here's my title, give me my title with the New Day, and Bianca Belair to Monday Night Raw. This one is interesting because also, if you think about it, that means that Montez Ford or the Street Profits could go to Monday Night Raw. So I don't know. Bianca is fine on Raw because they need her. They need a more star power. Alexa Bliss is going to be out. I know it's not the greatest thing in the world, but at least Bianca can develop herself even better as a credible superstar here on Raw. So we'll see what happens. But like you said, we have to talk about matches because the show also has matches. And this is like the type of matches that nobody really cares about. We got to see like this 8-man tag. And that's, the Street Profits with a New Day. Going against Bobby Roode, also like the Alpha Academy and Dolph Ziggler. Why do we even have these matches? I don't care. You tell me, because I don't understand why these matches take place.
I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth. I don't care. As soon as, again, like what did I say on Dynamite on Wednesday? 16-man tag. Well, this is cue for me to get up and do something else. Same thing here. 8-man tag. I see who the babyface team is. I'm like, the New Day isn't going to lose here. They're just going to job these guys out. It'll probably be Bobby Roode or Dolph Ziggler that eat the pin because they're still pushing, the Alpha Academy at least, pretty legit. So, it'll be one of the dirty dogs that eats the pin. And that's pretty much what it was. And, I really don't care. So.
Oh, yeah. No, it's not good. Like you said, It's just the fillers in this show, and I don't understand why they even do them. I just don't understand. It's just one of like the most terrible
with
things.
as many people as you have on your roster, this is Raw and SmackDown and NXT. You could have had a lot more draft picks tonight than they did.
Yes.
You know,
yes,
so instead of having these bullshit matches, do more drafts. Have it be where people are sitting in the back. Hey, which brand do you want to go to? Oh, I would love to be drafted to Raw. Here on SmackDown. I feel I've accomplished everything. Oh, okay, legit. Hey, who do you think you should? Have the interviewers talking to people backstage. Remember when they all sat there when
they had like the whole everybody like sat in the and then they will pick. That was even more like interesting, and actually that was like more intriguing. Or at least it was exciting to see, for example, let's say you and me, all of us, like sitting in.
All the Raw guys, and it's like Drew McIntyre drafted to SmackDown, and Drew stands up, and then all the guys look at him like, "Oh, okay,
I see you, like, okay, yeah, good luck, yeah, no, exactly. It's just like they found ways to just make this more uninteresting than like ever. And like I said, they shouldn't even do this anymore.
It's like they do it, but they don't care. It's like, we should do a draft. Yeah, okay, draft.
They present these things, in the most uninteresting way. You can see that like there's no effort behind it. You can see that it's like, oh, we gotta do a draft. Yeah, sure. Yeah, whatever. Get people excited. Yeah, whatever. They remember the year that they even made it like kind of like sports related, that they have like the experts for the one channel to the other one. That was at least it was at least you show effort. No, it didn't come out great, but So let's hear from Charlotte Flair. Like you said, I don't know what was that with the suit. I'm not going to even kind of comment on that because I didn't understand the fashion behind it. I mean, Andrade, bless your soul, but you love that. That's good for you. But you just said that like the SmackDown actually saw the best girl or like the best wrestler in the WWE. There you go. That's why they pick her. It's fine. Charlotte has been on SmackDown so many like already several times, so it's okay. I feel like they need to change that. Even like for me, the good thing it would be like if they do actually NXT as a brand, as a powerful force, and they actually change that. For example, how do you feel about Charlotte? Okay, you're going to be on NXT now, like that. Like the cap, like that. It will make more. At least it will make it more exciting for me.
Well, the only thing, and with a couple names that we're going to talk about here in a little bit that got called up from NXT already, I think as soon as guys are ready. And I'm saying as soon, like, hot out of the oven, like the cookies. Oh, no, you let them cool down for an hour and you're like, no, fuck that. I'm going to eat them right away. That's how Vince McMahon is. As soon as they come out of the oven, he wants them on Raw and SmackDown if they're ready. So, I really don't think you're going to see any big stars go back down there. I really don't. I mean, again, Mandy Rose isn't a big star. So that could, I could see people like that. A Dolph Ziggler. A Bobby Roode, I could see those people going back down there, but somebody like a Charlotte Flair, no more.
Oh yeah, I mean, but for me, at least it will make it a little more enticing for me because like
I think it's strictly developmental brand.
Like that's what like the perception that they have. But for me, at least it will be more interesting. Oh, I love Charlotte. I want to go. I gotta see NXT now. I gotta gotta watch NXT. So now let's talk about Paul really quick about like the matches that didn't make any sense. Kevin Owens against Happy Corbin, yes, and this is AEW bound. It has written all over like Kevin Owens' face. As soon as his contract is over, I can tell he's gonna debut on AEW. Just because it's like he goes from like Roman Reigns. Remember like how legit he was. Great matches, great feud, all of that. Royal Rumble to this. Nobody even gives a damn about him anymore. And I don't know, if you're Kevin Owens, what can you do to actually feel noticed one more time? And on top of that, he drops to Baron Corbin that still doesn't even have a ring gear. So
yeah, and Baron Corbin has a new accomplice. I forget what his name is. Something.
No, I want to tell you because he was drafted. Yeah, we're gonna go there in a little bit.
It's Riddick Moss, but it's he has a new name, and he's just like an Italian mobster almost. Just like the guy is on NXT. So there we go. We see the lack of creative. If that wasn't, evident enough, the lack of creative on this show. But now we see two Italian mobster guys, and, Corbin gets the win here. I think this is because Kevin Owens was, putting those cryptic tweets and, hinting at going to AEW. And, they probably saw that and said, you know what? Do you think we care if we let you go? You're not, a mover and a shaker for us, because we've pretty much given up. We're going to let AEW be number one for a while. Because we don't care. And, that's a shame. I like, a lot of people here in WWE and they're going to go to AEW and I don't blame him really at this point. So this is probably just them punishing Kevin Owens, but to me, that's just a stupid thing to do. I don't know why you wouldn't capitalize on this guy, why you still can make money off him, sell some t-shirts, present him legit, try to make money off him while you have him yet.
No, exactly. Yeah, and like you said, this show is like, okay, focuses on the draft. It's fine. It makes sense that like the theme should be the draft.
You want to know what's funny?
Give me matches. Give me something good in between.
To me, the thing that's funny is like somebody like Baron Corbin can only have a job in WWE.
Yeah.
Maybe Impact, but Ring of Honor's not going to sign him. Japan, AEW, they're not going to sign Corbin.
No.
And Corbin's the one guy who he'll never get fired. But somebody like Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn or one of those guys, they'll be like, "Oh, see ya."
No, yeah, no, that's the one thing.
Fish,
yeah, exactly. So before we continue, thank you so very much, family, for being with us. We're the original RHEA. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitch live right now. Please, comment. Let us know what you guys are feeling about this draft. Are you guys excited for what's to come? Crown Jewel and all these moves or these changes that we're going to talk about before we keep going with more. Paul, another one. Liv Morgan against Carmella. Didn't we see this in the pre-show? Why was this needed? Well, Carmella is debuting in a mask. So that's why they did this, and doesn't even happen in a match. She just takes care of like Liv Morgan, like the X Factor, and the face first one, and that's it. So again, you're killing the momentum from Liv Morgan. Clearly, you don't want to push her. Clearly, you don't want to give her a chance. And Carmella is just Carmella. It's just, hey, we don't have anything for her championship opportunities. So there you go. We're just going to keep her in stupid feuds right here. Again, another situation that is uninteresting. You give me reasons to change the channel. I think WWE does that.
Yeah, and
really.
Again, like you said, Liv Morgan, Carmella, Zelina Vega, Toni Storm, Becky Lynch, all these, and then all the women on Monday Night Raw. There's so many women that didn't get drafted tonight. Why are we seeing these matches, these pointless segments that, like you said, they really make you, embarrassed to be a wrestling fan, embarrassed to be watching this show, wasting your time. Show me the draft, show me stuff. This show should have been focused on the draft. It was like, just a really shitty rerun episode of SmackDown with some draft stuff sprinkled in there, and the only thing worth watching was Roman Reigns, which is the same thing every week.
It is. If that show wouldn't have Roman
I'm not
Reigns,
saying Roman Reigns does the same thing every week. I'm saying every week the only thing that's worth watching is Roman Reigns.
Yeah, that actually continues, is actually decent. It's getting decent, and the addition of Brock Lesnar made it a little better. Let's go with more draft picks. Like you said, Baron Corbin, Happy Corbin, and MADCAP Moss. Okay, they get drafted to SmackDown. Great. Okay. You know what I mean? Great. We don't care. We don't care. The tag team champions from the women, RHEA, RIPLEY, NIKKI, A.S.H, they still stay on Monday Night Raw, but these champions, they can go to any show. So it doesn't really matter as long as they hold those belts. This one is the one of like the surprises, at least. Hit Row from NXT, they come to SmackDown, and a lot of people already mentioned that they were going to be moved to the main roster. What do you think about what's going to happen to the United States Championship then? He's going to have to drop that pretty soon. And to whom?
Yeah, and there's maybe back to Santos.
Yes.
Maybe we see that feud again, and who knows? That's the one thing that I do like, is because if it's not Santos, there's lots of new guys in NXT, lots of fresh faces. Who knows? Maybe an LA Knight. I really don't know, but this is good, I think, for Hit Row, because I think all these guys are ready, and with the whole rap gimmick and pushing like that kind of urban culture. I feel Hit Row is they're over enough. They know what they're doing. I think they're fine and ready for the main roster. They don't have anything to learn or to prove in NXT. So I was surprised, but like it was a pleasant surprise to see.
Yeah, and that's the only move, because they said there were so many stars that are going to be called up. We'll see what happens on Monday Night Raw. But now also like you said, the BEARCAT. Keith Lee is a brand new heel. I feel bad for this guy. Like you said, like an NXT future, great. Remember the showing with Roman Reigns at the Survivor Series. Remember, like he got a decent show with Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble. He got COVID. He got a lot of injuries. He almost dies. All of these things. But right now he's a heel. Are we going to see a different version of Keith Lee? Hopefully, because he deserves better. But like they took everything that is special from him. He stays on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, I was fine, with Lucius turning heel and, all this stuff with the BEARCAT Lee. Okay, whatever, you can get over a nickname. If you go out there and you're legit, people will be like, okay, Keith Lee, they'll just forget the BEARCAT, and you can easily just drop that at some point as well. But, to debut this new name and not even a new look really against Akira Tozawa. It just wasn't good. I mean, I feel bad for Keith Lee.
No, yeah, we all do. We all do, because Keith Lee deserves a lot better, but he didn't get anything. So, like I said, he's the one that is also drafted. Naomi goes to SmackDown still. Okay, well, whatever. And Sonya Deville sounded like she seemed that she was upset about the decision. It's fine. I mean, Naomi, either she goes to Monday Night Raw, she's on SmackDown. Unfortunately, this girl has never been presented like as a main eventer, as a somebody that he can hold the championship. Yes, she's a former 2-time SmackDown Women's Champion, but do we actually believe that she can be the champion? No. And so, unfortunately, there's no good storytelling for her. Rey Mysterio and Dominic, they go to Monday Night Raw. That's where they were, like last year. So, we'll see what they can do. Probably they will win the Raw Tag Team Championships, which is fine. Or at least maybe Dominic has a better chance to be on his own. So we'll see. He can be a main eventer on Monday Night Raw. Paul, Jeff Hardy goes to SmackDown. You wanted this. They did it for you. I think that this is a good decision for Jeff Hardy. He can have that match with Roman Reigns at any of these last pay-per-views of the year. So this was good. I feel that Jeff Hardy will fit a lot better on SmackDown just because that's his show. And like you said, Austin Theory going to Monday Night Raw. We've seen this before. And I mean, remember, with Almas, with Al Garza, hopefully this time he can hold his own, because Austin Theory is a great talent. And hopefully he learned the lesson that his issues that they gave him before.
Yeah, and I guess the Gargano's family is over, because Indy's getting married, Austin Theory's getting drafted to Monday Night Raw.
The way is no more.
Candice is pregnant, so who knows what's going to happen to Johnny? Maybe he'll get a future endeavor. Who really knows here? But I was fine with a lot of these moves, like you mentioned. Jeff Hardy's a good one, because he wasn't doing anything on Monday Night Raw. I mean, yeah, beating Karrion Kross here or there, but that literally didn't mean anything. It didn't do anything for him. And he would get beat by Jinder, or beat this guy but lose to that guy. I mean, he was just so lost. So hopefully they do something with him on SmackDown. Naomi, obviously she was going to stay on SmackDown here, continue her feud, and wherever Roman and the Usos stays, I think Naomi's going to stay as well. So
it's true, absolutely. So Paul, let's go now. Let's talk about Edge, because remember what Seth Rollins has said to him. He's like, I need you to show up. I need you to answer me. This match is going to take place at Crown Jewel, they said. So we'll see. I mean, Edge is doing a lot of effort. Hopefully the neck is holding up well. He's talking about how he wants Seth Rollins. He wants another match. He's like, you think that you're better than me? I'm here. I'm 100%. So we can do this one more time. Seth Rollins shows up from Edge's house. So Edge is completely runs through so quickly just to see if her kids, his kids, and Beth Phoenix they're actually fine. So you said a little too long for this segment. Seth Rollins went around the house. He actually got some orange juice and apple. He sat down. He was seeing all the stuff that Edge has. I mean, the rivalry is really personal at this point, but it needs to end, because we've seen way too many matches of this already. We've seen 2. It needs to end. Hopefully Edge is the winner, and then we can get away for this. We can forget about this, because I'm just not too into it, just because we've seen it before. But that's it.
Yeah, because we don't even know really what the reason is for this. I mean, Rollins says you need to tell people that I'm not a cheap imitation of you. I'm not Edge light, but that can't be what the whole feud is over. I mean, I know Edge was pissed because he felt like Rollins, took his title opportunity away, and Rollins was pissed that, all these old timers, they just come in and jump the line to get a title shot when I've been here putting in the work. It should be me. But now they're fighting, and he's in his house, and he's just like, oh, you should lock your door. You're an idiot. Anybody could just come in here, and, going through his fridge, looking at his books, is, sitting in his chair doing all this stuff. And it's not even about the title anymore. This is just, they cranked the bullshit dial up to 10. And I'm like, I can't get into it.
No, yeah, it's not good. I mean, like you said, he was right there for a long time. At least they gave it the continuity, and Edge is telling Beth Phoenix right there on the phone.
He tried to make it serious, and then get out of there. You're not home. Okay, good. Blah blah blah. He tried to save it, but I mean, just too long with Rollins.
But it's hard. It's hard to save the unsavable. So Drew McIntyre also he's gonna be on the SmackDown, like you said. This is good. We're gonna see Roman and him at some point. And hopefully, maybe Drew is the one that isn't, the one that takes away the championship away from Roman. We'll see. But Drew, out of anybody, needed a change. Because, we're all tired of him on SmackDown. I mean, I'm sorry, Monday Night Raw. Remember, like the last 3 months, what is Drew done? SummerSlam with Jinder, matches with like Veer, with Shanky, all of those things. Like, I mean, the feud with Sheamus is good that we've seen it before.
I mean, we still got 3 more weeks of it though.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So like maybe like Drew, oh yeah, he's gonna win the WWE Championship, and then I don't know, but hopefully they don't do that. But at least Drew is like, hey, I'm just eyeing to the Universal Championship. Is supposed to happen. There you go. At least it's a change. That's the only thing I can tell you about Drew. Anything you want to add on that?
No, I mean I'm excited for Drew. The only thing, and now we didn't see a lot of big names, like no Bobby Lashley, no Becky Lynch. We didn't see names like that because they need to save some high profile names for Monday Night Raw, which again really makes this whole draft stupid. I don't care if all the big names get drafted on one show. Hey, cause that's how drafts work. Why would you take people like Naomi and Rey Mysterio and Dominic? No offense to them, and not take people like Becky Lynch or a Bobby Lashley.
Yes,
seriously.
It should be one day, you know what I mean? It should just be one day, and like.
That's why I said the whole show should just be focused. You can have the whole draft, and you can have one main event match. You could have did Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks as the only match on the show. You could have had some Roman Reigns segments in the back. Roman could have been trying to, change the draft. I don't want this guy on SmackDown. Make sure the Usos are on SmackDown, which he did
I like that. I like that, like I had like all the other superstars. For example, like Drew McIntyre comes to SmackDown. Oh my God, like superstars like, that sucks. There goes my chance or something like that. Give me a reaction from everybody. Yeah, exactly. Don't give me the reaction of the same guys. For example, Jeff Hardy's about to talk legit, but he runs away from Brock Lesnar. There you go. So like he already.
Look at them both wearing flannel. So.
Yeah, and also like instead of like him talking, he's excited. Brock Lesnar's right there, so get the microphone. So like, can you show some balls? Can you just like, are you tired to be jobbed out? Like I feel bad for this guy because the legacy of him is so big. He's so huge. He did so much for this business, and he's treated even worse than Matt. Worse than Matt. Like when Matt, remember the thing with Randy Orton? Even that looked serious.
I know. I gotta disagree with you. I think Matt was treated way worse.
For me, because it's like, 2 seconds. Oh no, let's give the microphone to Brock Lesnar. Jeff, fuck you. Pretty much. Okay, can I have a moment? Can I say something? No. Brock Lesnar actually cuts a promo, and then he said, Paul, that he's a free agent. And that's thanks to his buddy, Paul Heyman. So, of course, free agent, what does that mean? He can be on any show. He can cause all the chaos, whatever he wants. He can do that.
Well, so I wonder if that's because there's only like one free agent card. And like, remember the Undertaker used to have it?
Yes,
and then
John Cena.
He's gone. Then John Cena had it. John Cena's gone. So now Lesnar has it. Lesnar's like, okay, legit.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. So like, as soon as he said that, then you see like, so, and this was great because they had like the camera just going from like Jay to Jimmy, and then to like Roman, or Jimmy, Jay, Roman. And he's like, so, and then a conversation between like Paul Heyman is like, and then Roman's like, my good friend Brock Lesnar, or my good friend Paul Heyman, all of that. So they said, hey, help me out. I pay you for this. Roman finally freaked out on Paul Heyman. And he said, you got to be on Monday Night Raw. Make sure that like he doesn't do anything. But he doesn't trust anymore. So you see the relationship is broken. And he sends the Usos. He says, if he pulls any bullshit, just take care of it.
Yeah, because he said to Paul Heyman, he's like, why aren't the Usos, why weren't they already drafted to SmackDown? The bloodline can't be split up. He was like, my tribal chief, don't worry, it'll happen on Monday Night Raw, remember I'm the wise man. He's like, he's the wise man. And he starts laughing. And the Usos, they're not laughing, they saw like a serious look, but Roman's laughing. Then he just, like you said, he flips out and he screams. He's like, no, you're the wise man when I say you're the wise man. He's like, my tribal chief. And he's all like crying and groveling. And, he's like, don't worry, I promise you Monday Night Raw, they'll be drafted, to SmackDown and they'll still, be with you. And then, like you said, then he tells him, hey, if he steps out of line on Monday Night Raw, pretty much take him out. So it already shows that Roman is ready to cut his ties with Paul Heyman.
Yes. And it's done. Roman doesn't really need it. He never did. Maybe week 1, week 2, but like Roman is good promo already. So, and now the new character, the new identity, the new person that Roman Reigns is doesn't need him. So like you said, like there's a big news. Crown Jewel is gonna the title is gonna be defended, and Becky Lynch is gonna be defending in a triple threat against Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. First time that a WWE Championship on the female side, on the women's division, going to be defended at Crown Jewel. There's the belief that like because they've done matches before, they're breaking out, like they're trying to break those barriers in Saudi Arabia when it comes to the women, so that's where they're going to do this. I mean, they're probably going to fight in like different type of gear and all of that, but you know, there's this thing with WWE. They want to just force this agenda. They want to be the first ones. They want to be considered like people like who break barriers. So we'll see what happens.
It's a way for them, and I'm not. I shouldn't say it to downplay it, because you know I'm you know, glad for all these women involved. I'm sure they, you know, are looking forward to it. It's a big moment for them. But, you know, I'm sure they're really not looking forward to going to Saudi Arabia and potentially being maybe held up in the airport again, and, you know, having to go to this country, for, you know, COVID, and all just so Vince McMahon, you know.
Well, the green one always moves, you know. That's the main force, you know. That you're right. So we'll see. I mean, that's what we had. And as the main event, you know, Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair, we got to see this. Remember, this was supposed to happen at SummerSlam. We still don't know the reason. We haven't even heard from Sasha Banks. So she just has the match. So they're keeping the character somewhat like, you know, I don't want to talk. I'm just going to do my thing. I do whatever I want. So the match was okay. I feel that, like, yeah, they can always give us a good show. Sasha Banks is extremely great in the ring. Bianca is, you know, pretty decent. So of course they're going to give us a good showing. I liked it. What about you? You know, I mean, the one thing is Becky Lynch was on commentary, so I was more focused on her talking to Pat McAfee, because they were. Well, I think she was a little annoying. But like Pat is like, oh, are you okay? Relax. So like they kind of downplay for me like the match a little bit.
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely, because we saw some good action in the ring. You know, Sasha Banks is really good. I think her and Bianca have a lot of chemistry. Obviously, WrestleMania rematch. It had a great match at WrestleMania. You know, this match was really good, but how could you really focus on it with Becky Lynch? You know, like you said, she was all stuttering. She turned her character, you know, over the top on this. You know, McAfee and, you know, Michael Cole were going at it with her, and, you know, you were just waiting. You were going, okay, you know, at some point she's going to get involved, and that's really what happened. They got to the outside, you know, they got pushed into, you know, her, you know, she pretty much grabbed Bianca's hair as Bianca picks up Sasha, throws her back in the ring, you know, and then as she goes to go back,
the most effective move, right?
Yeah, Becky grabs her hair, but I mean, at least Becky had the hair, so that was the reason why. Then Sasha gets a jackknife cover, you know, 1, 2, 3, and she wins. So I was fine with this, because, you know, I'm fine with Sasha winning, you know, because Sasha was coming back. But really, did it need to be from Becky, the distraction, all this?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, but like, you know, it's because they're just going to say, hey, they're going to have a match in Crown Jewel. So Becky's still feuding with both of them. I mean, I would much rather also to see maybe Becky doing something to Sasha, because Sasha did that thing on Extreme Rules. He didn't just hit Bianca, but she hit also Becky. But, you know, and also like this is like when you scratch your head, it's like, why is Charlotte doing this? Charlotte has to come in, does the two big boots, one of like Bianca, one of like Sasha. Have we not getting enough of Charlotte Flair lately? I just got to say that she's great. Nobody's denying that fact. But can we just keep getting more Charlotte and Charlotte and Charlotte? And the show goes over with both champions lifting their belts. I don't know. I mean, they're going to switch brands. We know that. Charlotte's already on SmackDown. Becky has to go to Monday Night Raw. I don't know how they're going to do this, but...
The only thing I think is maybe they're planting the seeds for Survivor Series, which would be cool.
Yes.
But other than that, yeah, I don't know.
Yes, you know, I agree with you, because like this is I don't know why it needs to be this way. I don't know, like the storyline is more like, I don't want to see more Charlotte Flair. You know, like maybe Nikki ASH, for a lot of people, you know, you were not behind that, but at least it's different, because again, this is the same woman. We have 4 people in the WWE, and Bayley's out, but it's always Sasha, it's always Charlotte, it's always Becky. There's no room for Liv Morgan. There's no room for Tegan Knox. There's no room for Shotzi. There's no room for anybody. And that bothers me, because it needs to be at least more people involved in these matches, in these title opportunities. But that's what we got. So, Paul, you know, family, thank you so very much for being with us. You know, I hope you guys have a great weekend. And don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and also where they can find us.
And follow us on all our social media: Rope Break on Facebook, the OG Rope Break on Twitter, Original Rope Break on Instagram, Twitch, and TikTok, and of course right here on YouTube, the home of the #1 podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, the Original Rope Break.
And we have one more thing that is left to say, and that is...